happy International Coaching Week. And we are really pleasure in Kuwait chapter to have really a special guest close to my heart. And I am sure in this webinar, you will gain a lot of knowledge, insight, and really, what can I say, plans for your future in coaching. This webinar will be 1 hour, and I really appreciate it if you mute your mics, and you will get the certificate by the email and the YouTube link. It will be in within 1 or 2 days. Now, when I wanted to introduce our guest, and I read, يعني would say in Arabic, mashallah, all the experience, I told my dear guest that we will have no time for the interview if I read all. So mashallah, يعني, it is really honor to have Lina as a guest in Kuwait chapter to, I mean, guide us all in her legacy. Lina Al-Assaad is distinguished executive leadership and team coach with over 2 decades of experience guiding C-suite executives, senior government officials, and royal family members to become a world-class leaders and drive personal and organizational excellence. With track record of expertise across Fortune 500 companies, mashallah, she skillfully combined coaching science and business acumen to guide senior professionals through high-stakes changes across diverse industries. Lina spearheaded the advancement of professional coaching as the president of ICF UAE and continue to shape the industry as sought-after speaker, mentor, coach trainer, author, a Harvard Business Review Council member. Wow, the chairperson of ICF Governance Committee. Honored for her coaching results, she was the first ever PCC coach to receive the prestigious Coaching Impact Award by ICF in the USA. Wow, Lina, يعني ما شاء الله. It's really honor to have you in Kuwait chapter. If you want to say something before starting questioning.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you, Maliha. Thank you for hosting me, and thank you for all the listeners who are here, the participants with us tonight. I am privileged to be on this platform communicating with you, mashallah, with all your also background and experience, and to be part of this community talk.
Lina, with all your achievement, if I want to start the simplest question, who's Lina?
If that is the simplest one, Maliha, God knows what is coming next. Lina is a mother, first of all. I am, and I always find myself very blessed to be a mother of 2 incredible teenagers who inspire my work every day and who give me really the courage to move on. I'm also a woman who walked multiple paths in life, who reinvented herself very much, who really steps into bold business areas, along with being a coach, a speaker, a co-author, an educator. But it's at the core, I am someone who believes that impact starts with one conversation, one choice, or one act of courage. and we're all able to make an impact.
Thank you. Speaking of the coach now, how did coaching came across your life?
Honestly, I spent about 18 years. I was doing multiple leadership roles in corporate, and I led teams. I worked with multinational business, multicultural teams across all this region, across the EMEA region with 26 countries. I noticed that people came from different, cultures, regions, part of the world. And throughout although my KPIs were bringing the business and the numbers, what I learned throughout is that these numbers won't come unless the people are in place, unless we care about them, unless we motivate them. And back in the days, coaching, I'm talking more than 30 years ago, coaching was not the tool that is used or widely spread in organization. So, and I've seen it all. I've seen the challenges. I've seen burnout, the corporate work, awareness for well-being was not there, working back to back, etc. So with these talents, I noticed that I had the innate talent of moving people into target and making them see the purpose and involving them, etc. And this is where the shift came later on, because I really wanted to master that and go into this aspect of the business rather than keep focusing just on bringing numbers and result. And this is where the journey started. So of course I had to certify and go and do the hard work of, getting all the coaching qualifications needed so I could call myself a coach and come back to corporate. And this was the passion and the first spark of this let's say business.
Lina, you have held a senior leadership role in corporate, like 100 companies across EMEA. Now, how did a leadership now shape your coaching lenses?
Well, of course, it does shape the coaching lens. Being in corporate role does gives me, first of all, the real life experience. I've been through those challenges. I've been through the shoes of leaders. I've been through the volatility, the unknown, the uncertainties, and I had to make the business decisions. And I'll also, I have gained a lot of business acumen, and that shapes my lens in the way that I bring to coaching all the expertise and tools in coaching, but also I meet my coachees where they are. They are all senior leaders, they're all executives, but they all have the needs of the human needs, basically. So this kind of gives me a twist and an edge also to meet them where they are. And to be honest, it also gives and adds credibility to my work, that they know that I am bringing a coaching hat, but also a practical hat to their experience. They can trust they can get the results that they need. Well, sometimes they don't see it right away because, a lot of leaders don't understand coaching very well, and sometimes they do.
So you believe that practical experience really helps, not only the certification or whatever I get leadership certification, unless I practice now the role of leadership, I'll be in an organization, I can be a successful leadership coach.
I say that there is a lot of edge. It does bring a big edge to know that I sit with CEOs, I sit with senior VPs, I sit with people in the board directors. So I haven't been there and done that. I've been in the boardrooms. That gives me an edge to command presence and to understand the whole context, let's say. at the beginning to build that trust and rapport, you know, it's not in the details of the coaching steps because we don't coach the CEO, we coach the human, we coach behind it. But yes, being in leadership roles or coming from corporate, if I'm talking about executive coaching and at this C-suite level, it does bring a lot of the experience does bring a lot of added value to the coaching lens.
Now, Lina, being with these, let's say, hundreds of leaders, how do you see networking support your business? The value of networking?
I myself give a lot of courses on networking. So I think networking is a very important edge in building a successful business. So we have different, let's say, criteria for a successful business, but I believe networking is very important. It helps you create those relationships that you want to build and sustain them and actually turn them into profitable ways um, uh, to make business. But I also have to say that there is an art and skill of networking, and the whole understanding of networking is requires maybe a talk by itself. But networking is not about, you know, how many followers I have, how many business cards I collect when I go to an event, or how many people I know. Networking is a science. It has steps before, during, and after. What do I do in each step? Has a lot of follow-up that needs to happen. And if I have to give one tip for people who want to network, is remember to give before you take. You're not there to sell, you're there to offer value. So it does play a very important role. And in my business, it was a key role, honestly, to build that business. And I do talk about it a lot. For those who know me, they know that I work with corporate on supporting them on building the successful networking. I work with coaches. So yeah, networking is key, honestly, to building a successful coaching business.
When you mention, so what's in it for me? When someone tell you, what's in it for me to be in the chapter? What's in it for me to be a coach? What's in it for me to be in the board?
We're talking about networking at the board level, at the ICF level. The ICF level is a different story, honestly. When I got involved with the chapter and I held the different roles for the ICF UAE, there was not what's in it for me, to be very honest. There was more, how can I be of service? And at the time, I found a gap and I found a passion. I found the umbrella that can unite us as coaches. And as you know, in coaching, it can get lonely. It's not like corporate. You step from the role of being surrounded by whatever number of employees that you see at the office to being behind your desk alone, and you want to do all the work and juggle, etc. So I saw the first time I attended an event, I knew I wanted to be part and take role with ICF. And I joined the chapter as a director for membership, then as president, vice president, president, and I'm still taking role with global on the governance committee. And what's in it for me? If I look from this lens, it's never enough, because what you know, Maliha, also in your role, what you give is a lot more than what you take. Now, there is, of course, a great fulfillment from building the chapter or building the visibility. For example, I brought the chapter to the to light. I turned the lenses and all the eyes on the UAE chapter as we grew exponentially from 200 to 600 members. But that was not what's in it for me. What's in it for me was to raise the awareness to professional coaching in the market, for people to know that coaches exist and professional coaches exist, and that's impactful. What's in it for me was also um, to gather the community, let's say, under one roof, and they would feel that, you know, everybody had a voice. So these are the moments. And of course, you gain a lot of connection. That's very nice, and a lot of visibility as a byproduct. But if you are asking someone to join a chapter because there is for every action something that they would get, they will not find it, honestly. What's in it for me is the being more of service. And I see you nodding and smiling because you know that we put a lot more than we take, but what we take is the gratitude of people coming and saying, coaches coming and saying, oh, that was an amazing, you know, activity. It helped me in my business, or they remember you as the person to go to for support. So there's a lot of other things that can be in it for you, but it's not going to be materialistic, and it's not going to be one-on-one, you know, it's not I put this, I take that. It doesn't work like this.
So, upon working as leader in the corporates, and now you step to ICF leader. You had a different role, a membership director, vice president, president, and also you were part of the member of the PRISM Award Committee, the Arabic Translation Task Force, the PRISM Award judge, and now what was the reason you said, I want to be in the chapter, I want to be a vice president, or you want to be nominated or put yourself as a president? What was that about when you thought about it?
As I mentioned, the main reason is I felt we can do more collectively, and I wanted to drive this. I wanted to drive the collective work and to bring awareness to professional coaching in the market, to create more visibility, even to turn the eyes, as I said, of the US towards the chapter as we gain momentum and membership. We had the first time that our CEO, Magdalena Mook, came to the region, as well as many, many prominent figures. We hosted Marshall Goldsmith and Dr. Marsha Reynolds, etc. So the reason was really mainly about, again, elevating the profile of coaches and professional coaches in the market. And because there is a lot of, let's say, in the market, there is a lot of people who call themselves coaches, but are not really properly positioned to be coaches. And we know, and most of us on this call, if not all, know that the path is really rigorous. So I wanted to show this to the public mostly and drive more impact to the community.
In chapter Kuwait, we have 75 now. Mashallah, you jumped Emirate chapter from 200 to 600. What was the secret so we can jump to 600?
It wasn't a jump, it was a consistent work, and thank you. And it took us, it wasn't a leap of 200 to 600, but I remember at the time we were 250, and many things, we would know each other's personally, we would connect, and we would really, for example, personalize our approach, even to the renewal, even to how the journey of the coaches become, etc. So It was built over time, and then it becomes exponential. You know, when you increase 10% over 200 is different than over 100 or over 300. So when the increase becomes more substantial with a bigger number, and it's a big community of coaches anyway. So there's a, to be honest, the pool of coaches, even if they're not member, is quite big in here in the UAE.
Lina, you are a winner of multiple awards. Mashallah, accomplished coach, Coaching Impact Award by ICF, Best Executive Coach, and throughout the leader, Global Leadership Award, Mastermind Award, Best Executive Coach, Keynote Speaker, Asia 100 Women Power Leader, White Page International Most Impactful Leader, and first ever PCC coach to win prestigious ICF Coaching Impact Award as accomplished coach. Now, which one is the most valuable to you?
They're all valuable because they each one of those brought different pool of people I was competing with, and different criteria for selection, and different judges, and most importantly, different journeys to get there. So all of them are important. But of course, to my heart, the dearest is the prestigious ICF, because the ICF Global Impact Award, because it's a, let's say, a stamp or validation by the gold standard of the industry, and that was really hard work to get there. To be honest.
Now, can you tell us about this journey through the Impact Award now? How did it start? What is the qualification? How can the coaches apply?
Yeah. So first of all, it has not related. This is where people make a confusion. It's not related if you play a role on the board or if you don't play on the role of the chapter. And it's not related to chapter. Any ICF coach can apply to this award, either ACC, PCC, or MCC. So all of us can apply to this. And of course, there are very rigorous criteria. To be very honest, I wasn't, because I was the first one to get it, and it is a colleague of me who nominated me and said you should go for it. And at first I didn't think, I would qualify. The criteria is very rigorous. You have to put everything you ever worked ever for as a coach into perspective. So the award takes into consideration the impact created through the projects, what were the results in those projects, who did I coach. It takes also into consideration the social impact. So not only I do coach executives, C-suite and royal family members, I also coach and create social impact through the work with the UN, the Sustainable Development Goals in education. I mentor across different organizations for equality, for gender equality, let's say, and for those who are have a socio-economically underprivileged to become to go for further education. Anyway, so there's the social impact, there is the coaching impact, there is the how did we achieve diversity and inclusion in all the work we've done through our lives, be it on the board, be it on at the social level. So it does scrutinize really all the work that's in place, and it's reviewed by multiple reviewers. There's not one person who decides or a committee who decides. It's a pool of reviewers, and they rotate your blind, let's say blind review. They don't know the names, they know just the achievement. And so this is what you need to put through. And I would say the journey was not just about winning the award. Of course, I celebrated and I couldn't believe it, and we were invited to Orlando to get the award. But most importantly, it was about the journey. It helped me reflect on the way that I've gone through, like 10 years, now it's 12, but 10 years of coaching of my life, what has happened. It put things in perspective for me. Really, it helped me like take every document, every testimonial I was ever give and submit. And that exercise by itself, even if you don't get the award, I think the award by itself comes from you knowing where you stand as a coach. And this can even motivate your impact even further. So I encourage people to take a leap of faith and try and review their journey, have a holistic, overview. Where am I now? What did I achieve? Like a compass, because we're mostly running and trying, but maybe we never pause. Us coaches who ask people to pause and reflect, we don't pause. So that's the beauty of this award.
In the award, they mention your contribution to diversity and inclusion. Do you want to
Yeah.
talk about that?
Okay, so the word diversity inclusion, I was just on a panel with a Saudi chapter in ICW this year, and just the Omani chapter before, and the work before. So when we think of diversity and inclusion, because it is coming from, global concepts, let's say, in a global organization, first of all, we think it should be maybe gender related, women equality and empowerment, or maybe we think it's color, skin, black, white, etc., because that's what the West is feeding us. But in a way, diversity and inclusion is about everything we do in our lives. How diverse, for example, is the pool of, although I'm in executive coaching only, but how diverse is the pool? Do I coach across generation? Do I coach across genders? How diverse were the board, for example, where we were 6, 8 people coming from 8 different countries, speaking more than 15 different languages, etc. So inclusion is what we do every day. I live in Dubai. It's a melting pot of 130 nationalities, and we deal with at least, I don't know, on daily basis with so many. So how do I approach it with the mindset, the respect that it requires? So this is the kind of work we do when we think of diversity and inclusion. It's how we take these global concepts and bring them to local uh, applications. What's applicable to us? What is diversity to me? What's inclusion to me? How can I be inclusive in my community, for example, in my um, even in with the leaders that I coach? How can I impact them for accepting, as you know, now a new generation is coming into place. That's diversity. So I'm a Gen X, and then I have a report a new person working who's a Gen Z. How can this how can I be inclusive for their needs, not only my needs? So it shows up in different ways in our lives. And I believe it's an important concept. And the more we take it into consideration, the more that we can really inspire and grow, let's say, the business.
Thank you. If we talk about your publications and books, you have contributed to several publications, included Shaken, Stirred, but Not Deterred. Now, in one of the chapters, you've shared powerful movement and courageous story of reinventing yourself that many professionals can relate. What made you choose that particular moment in your life to write about?
Yeah, thank you for that. Actually, I realized that my story will inspire others and will help grow because through my experience, I discovered that resilience And resilience is not about, you know, standing in the face of adversity and whatever happens. Resilience is more about riding the wave and going to the shores intentionally and building from there, because all of us are going through changes in our lives. And I recently certified in transition coaching, so supporting leaders in taking on the new changes. So, uh, so what I learned is uh, we will find ourselves in face of change, and that's inevitable. Now, what do we do about it, and how do we transition in a way it will make the difference in our lives? And that's exactly what happened with me. So, transitioning from corporate to entrepreneur, this requires different mindset. This requires different skills. Some of them are transferable skills, and some of them I need to really grow more of. And in order for me to be able to help people grow, because that's what I do, I support leaders in going to the next level of their success. I needed to take that courage, and I needed to make the shift from a very structured role, let's say, to very ambiguous, uncertain role. You know how it is when we're alone and entrepreneur, we're holding all the different hats. So how do we juggle this? How do we stay authentic, for example? How do you build your niche as a coach and why it's important? How do we stay true to who we are? And all of this had to be led by a sense of purpose, the purpose of supporting people in their growth. So my part of this experience is to inspire leaders that it can happen. It happens to all of us. And when it happens, what do we do with it? So like what we say in general, when life throws a lemon at you, make a lemonade and all of these things, this is what it means. Uh, it means that transformation starts from within, from our own mindset. We talk about mindset for shifts for people, and we work on the mindset shift for people. We need to do the work in our own mindset. So this is where I wanted to share and what I wanted to share and leave for others to read, let's say.
Coach Naila is saying, I love your perspective of inclusion and diversity. I never thought got it like that.
Really? Thank
Yeah.
you. Well, I always hope to inspire someone. Even my objective in life is, if I can change a little thing every day, I may leave an impact eventually, because impact is very at the core of what I do, let's say. Yeah, and a lot of us think of diversity as a foreign thing. You know, we have to, especially in corporate for leaders, we have these diversity and inclusion thing. But how can you relate to it? It's not a foreign language. It's our language. We have it. We don't call it diversity and inclusion. But when I respect your point of view, when I invite you into my life, where you know, we are here diverse. And this call, I'm sure we come from different countries and different maybe schools and different regions and areas and villages, whatever it is. So yeah, this is how we invite everybody to feel that they are heard and seen.
Thank you. You are inspiring already. And you
Thank you,
say, I
Habibti
may
Maliha.
inspire. You are already inspiring.
I'm in front of an inspiration already, yani, mashallah. And I'm sure a lot of the audience also.
Yes, sure. What's legacy you want to leave, Lina?
Uh, Look, I started by saying I'm a mother, and that's the most important thing for me before being the coach and, you know, the trainer, etc. I think I know that I want to be a role model for my teenager, for my daughter, first of all. I want her to know that of course, she can rely on me, but also she can believe in herself, because also part of the story in that book is a lot of imposterism that many of us go through, the imposter syndrome. I also went through it. And to be very honest, sometimes when I'm faced with new things, like after I've done 10 years of all the successes of coaching, I was even feeling imposter when I had to submit to the award, for example. And that was a big learning that I can push myself to the next level. So I want her to feel that she can be very confident and push boundaries. And I also want to be a role model for my son because I believe we impact both genders. I want him to be able to treat, people in general, women and men, with all the decency and respect. That's the legacy. I also hope that I leave a legacy of growth, impact, and service in the market. One legacy that lights the way for others to step into their power and really make their own meaningful mark because we're all capable. And I always say to myself, it's not about competition. It's about competition with myself because I only want to be better than the person I was before, than not better than anyone else. I want to push myself to move to grow from my learnings, let's say, because we all have our, the ride is not always upwards. There are so many ups and downs. And then how do we build on this and how do we grow on this? That's very important to me.
You are seeing the hearts everywhere?
I am, and I'm sending hearts back to everyone. I am. It's mutual. Thank you for the hearts.
Rajna is saying shift from structure to something that's ambiguous. It must be driven by purpose. You've inspired me. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and the floor is open for all your thoughts and all your questions. But yeah, we'll go to the questions, I think, later on.
If your daughter, she came to you, said, Mom, I want to be a coach, what's the first advice you're gonna say to her?
Okay, for my daughter, she's very young. I would say, first of all, invest in yourself, invest in your own growth. Yes, coaching is a science and we do study it and we do work on it, but also we have to do also our own work and we have to come from a place of experience. And if I want to give advices to coaches in general, one, be very patient, very, very patient. I have seen many coaches literally when I had the different roles with the ICF UAE chapter, they would call me out of nowhere. And that's a privilege that I had, that people felt that they could, somehow my phone is with everyone and they could pick up the phone and just say, I don't have clients. I graduated and say, okay, I'm a PCC. Okay, when did you get all of this? Last year. Okay, last year. You have to be super patient. It takes time to build it. It takes time to get clients. So don't think just because you're certified, even if you got multiple certifications, that you're gonna get the business booming. It takes time to land clients. Honestly, it takes time to build the business. So make sure when you are going into that role, you have enough backup, you have enough sustainability and patience, and you know that it's gonna take long. I would say be consistent and disciplined. Repeat, even if you see you're failing day after day, just repeat what you believe is the right thing to repeat consistently, and eventually you will grow the fruits. We always say trust in the process. The coaches, come to me if I'm coaching a client. Trust the process of coaching. Trust in the process. You need to trust in the process of the business development because that's business development is different than coaching. Coaching, okay, it's a science, we can coach. Developing the business, you need to put on the marketing hat, you need to put on the sales hat, you need to put yourself out there, you need to step out of your comfort zone, you need to go into many, let's say, falls. Also, I would say, make sure you know who you're serving. So defining a niche is key for any coach. And we all fall into the trap at the beginning. Is like, oh, I have a client, but I cannot say no, it's a client. I can't believe I have a client, you know? No, it's okay. I refer if I have teenagers. I refer if I have maybe people in certain industries that I don't coach. I refer. So if I focus on saying I am a coach for executives, C-suite leaders, and I support them to going to their next level of success, I am more and more defining that I don't serve the rest. I need to walk the talk and literally not serve the rest. Because if I'm a coach for everyone and I do everything, then people don't know who I am. I need to build that brand that people know. Oh, I need a teenage coach. I know few teenage coaches. I need a neurodiversity coach. I know a few of them. I need executive coaching. And when you step into executive, if we're talking about executive coaching, when you step into it, know what it is. It's not just because, oh, it's prestigious, I work with corporate. Maybe it's not your calling. Maybe you much prefer work with women who are staying at home, and that's nothing wrong with that. That's beautiful, beautiful place to be and a beautiful niche to be and to build and build it. And last thing I would say, enjoy the journey, because the journey is about touching people's life. And what we do is a lot more important than we think maybe we're doing. We are touching people's life. When I'm creating impact, when I have leaders who call me after 3-4 years and tell me they need the service again, or they have somebody to, or I have my nephew who is now in a company and he needs you. These referrals for me are the secret to success. There is, yes, a lot of marketing and social media, but most importantly, if you want to be a coach, make sure that every client you have, you touch their lives in a way they want to either come back if they need you, or they refer you to 2-3 people, you become the word of mouth. And honestly, I'm giving you, that was my secret of the trade, let's say. It's just building referrals.
Thank you, Lina. Muhammad, Coach Muhammad saying consistency and persistence also with
Yeah.
for the success, yeah.
And with consistency comes, come the learning and the growing and the investing. I cannot be just one day learning, growing, investing, and tomorrow I don't find clients. Then I get this demotivation and I step out, and then, oh no, let me go back. That doesn't work. I have to know that I have to do it and to have to grow it properly.
Thank you, Lina. Now, my last question before taking the question from Dennis. What is Lina in the future? What's your vision for Lina in the future? Who's Lina?
Yeah, in the future. So what is next for me? What I would love to do is sustain the growth, because growing is much easier than sustaining it. So sustaining the growth and paying it forward, meaning putting the knowledge, putting expertise, putting, every bit and piece of things that I could share. It's going to be soon, inshallah, in new trainings and offerings. So I can create a bigger effect, and impact. And collaboration. I believe in collaboration. So next is some collaborations with other dear colleagues, inshallah, that will pave the way. And actually, one of the tips I always give to coaches, we're not here to compete, we're here to collaborate. Yes, we are in the same pool, and yes, there might be 5 out of 10 who submit a proposal and who will be accepted, or 1 out of 10, or whatever it is. But the more we collaborate together, we build on each other's strength, because we can't be knowledgeable in everything and everywhere. It's places where we collaborate. So this is really what's next for me: sustainability, collaboration, and paying it forward.
The one thing I wanted to ask you now, I remember the social media. What do you think about the effect of having platforms and social media?
Okay. So we can talk a lot about marketing and how you build a business and how you make it successful. And social media now is a necessary evil, let's say. That's how I feel about it. Necessary evil. In Arabic, it's called Sayf Zu Haddain. It is necessary. You need to put yourself out there. And honestly, I had a LinkedIn, I didn't have an Instagram, and I was pushed into Instagram because there are government entities that only go into Instagram, and they were shocked one day that I wasn't there. So I learned it the hard way. I would say put yourself on all social media, choose the platform that speaks best to you. My default is LinkedIn, but I am there on Insta as well. And be careful with it. Meaning, we are now competing with a lot of content with no substance. We see a lot of, quotes and I mean, go pay anyone, go pay a social media manager very little money, and they do a lot for you, and they overpost, and they overdoing it when it's not authentic. It undersells, it undervalues who you are. So just keep the brand for you, and make sure there is substance behind what's out there. Otherwise, it backfires. Otherwise, you come, yes, maybe your name will be known, but known for what? That's the question.
Thank you so much. Now we open the floor. Who wants
Thank
to ask
you.
Lina? Take advantage of Lina time. It's an opportunity to be a global coach. If you have any question,
I'm
please.
reading the comments now. Love the perspective of inclusion. Yes. Thank you. And structure to something that's ambiguous. Yes. Purpose. Thank you, Rada. Consistency and persistence. Yes. There's a lot we can learn from each other, as I would say. Also, like in such forum, what has worked for you? A lot of great coaches here. What would be your key, for example?
When is your next training and next book?
I love the Emily coach, Emily. Sorry, I will tell you, inshallah, Maliha. Thanks. What's your biggest regret on the coaching journey? What would you have done differently? I never thought about it, and thank you for putting me on the spot. Not asserting myself earlier on, this is one thing, meaning I was driven by passion and by purpose, and that's very noble and good. And from a business perspective, um, people, let's say, monetized the return much more than I did. For example, for every training they did, there was a lot more advertising or a lot more monetizing. So monetizing the return, I would say I'll do it much earlier on than now. Right now, I'm gonna be investing on on that path. So that's one of thing I would have done earlier. I hope, or differently. I hope it answers your question, Emily. And that's also the answer. تفضلي. Go ahead.
Lina, I really appreciate it. The assertiveness piece speaks to me too.
Yeah. And it takes courage, and it takes it takes a lot of, it's not only about the reward and fulfillment from coaching, it's about seeing it as a business and working on it as a business. So wearing double hats, you have to have your heart in it, because you're the coach also. You're the main coach, but you have to look at it as any other business, as any entrepreneurship. How do you see the age impact of coaching business? Would customer consider the age and gender when they hire coaches? Yes, yes, and It depends. Like some now in the business, there's a lot of, especially in the region, if you go Saudi or here, but mostly Saudi, there's the Gen Z going into the workforce, and they may prefer younger people, coaches, if that's the question. They would consider age. Sometimes they mistake my age anyways, so that's that's a different story. So yeah, sometimes they want more gray hair for wisdom, but it never played against, honestly, a chemistry session, because once they are in the session and they see, first of all, once they see the track record that you have and they're in the chemistry session, and if you can really relate to them in one way or another, it doesn't have to be by age. If you really speak their language and you relate to them, then you have the business. That's not a big deal. Gender-wise, yes, and we know it sometimes is okay, female coaches, female leaders prefer to work with females, but not all the times. Nowadays, they just want to swap because, again, if you create that image and brand for you, and if you have that track record or CV that backs you up, they will read this and they would get curious at least to meet with you. Now, if they would still prefer a gender, that's a different story. But if you get to the chemistry session, you cross the first step, then in the chemistry session, you have to cross the second step where they feel that you are or going to be of an added value. And that comes with the inexperience and your offering. Why would you be the right coach for them? What are you bringing? How will you support them? So all of these together is a mix for the overcoming these. I hope I answered. That's amazing. I love what you're saying. Your thoughts on collaboration rather than competition. Absolutely. I always said that. I've said it from the minute I stepped into ICF 10 years ago, and I said, let's all come together to create and increase our market, rather than we have that small cake, let's all kill each other's over it. How can we all make a big effect and increase that pie so everyone can take a share? And we can do it only collectively. Like when we all raise the voices towards, that's professional coaching. That's how it works. And collaborating, lean onto each other. It's the best thing to do. Alia, very inspiring. What was the most effective way in raising awareness about the importance and benefits of hiring coaches in corporate and institutions? Okay. The most effective way, to be very honest, is not to go alone. So when I represented ICF, it was already giving a credibility. So we're going and speaking on behalf of ICF of what has worked. And when needed, I would bring even more credible people from ICF to speak about it. If I'm talking about me alone, I could make an impact. And that's in giving, again, studies of ROI. Companies want to see, okay, I'm investing this money. What is it going to get me? And there are a lot of research from ICF and the HCI or PwC and other studies that you can go. And you need to see what do they need. You need to meet their need. Like in every negotiation or in every influencing process, you need to understand what influences them and what is their need here. What are they looking for? And you speak to this need. So you do the homework of understanding rather than just selling. You want to go find out why would you be of added value to them? Does that answer you, Alia? Ahmad, when I feel a good question, when will I hold my MCC? I have all the hours and more, actually, a long time ago. I just take my steps at a time. I really build on everything and I do my offering. I value the MCC. It's not that I don't, but I feel I'm offering myself in multiple ways so far. But thank you for putting this out, Ahmad. I hope it's not Maliha who's whispering this to you because she keeps pushing. Thank you, Ahmad. Wonderful coach. Admire how much you care about your family and how you strive to be a great model for your kids. Look, it all starts by the family. If we're human beings, we're great human beings internally and to the smallest circle before we pretend to touch bigger lives. If we can't touch those lives, it's gonna be much harder to impact bigger circle. Yeah, thank you. Very informative and eye-opening. Thank you. I appreciate all your comments, all the hearts, and all the thoughtful words.
Thank you so much, Lina. Really, really inspiring. And yeah, and we will follow, inshallah, your steps. You are a role model to us. We are honored, Arabic women, women, and reaches the best and the highest recognition award in the world. We are proud of you. We are so proud.
Thank you. And I'm honored to be on this platform really with all the great people. And it's very fulfilling that Rana, I see you. And it's very fulfilling that we can, and that's a way of collaboration, honestly. If I can offer any answer to anyone or be of service, I'm also more than happy. I think somebody put, Coach Ghalia put my LinkedIn in the chat. My Instagram is also available. And I'm more than happy to share. And I learned from you all, by the way. Your thought-provoking questions to me were very interesting. So thank you so much.
Thank you. We need to have now a picture.
Come on.
Take the picture.
With pleasure. Who's going to take it?
Do you want to open camera? Who want to be in the picture? Thank you.
Okay, please open your camera if you can.
Thank you.
غالية فيكي تاخديها من عندك ولا اخذ انا؟ اوكي.
Thank you.
اوكي.
انا راح
ايباد حلو لكان تصوري عشان تطلع الصورة كاملة. يلا 3 2 1 تشيز. It's okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lina. Thank you for your time. Thank you, everybody. And inshallah, we'll see you also in ICF Kuwait chapter events. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Coach Maliha. I really thank you for this opportunity.
Pleasure.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you.